In 1965, the United States launched a small satellite into orbit. It was called LES-1, a communications satellite built by MIT's Lincoln Laboratory to test secure military transmission technologies. At the time, space was still new territory, and every launch was a high-stakes experiment. LES-1 was designed to function for just a few months. That was it. It wasn't meant to change history, but it did something no one expected. It came back. At first, everything seemed routine. The satellite was successfully launched aboard a Titan rocket. It made it into space, and initial data began coming in. But then, just moments after reaching orbit, something went wrong. A glitch occurred that prevented LES-1 from separating properly from its booster stage. As a result, the satellite never activated fully. Its systems remained dormant. No signal, no function, just silence. Within days, it was classified as a failed mission and forgotten, just another piece of cold metal drifting through space. And so it remained for nearly 50 years, orbiting Earth silently every 101 minutes, unnoticed, unmonitored. A ghost of Cold War ambition, circling our planet in quiet loops. By all accounts, it should have degraded, shattered, or simply faded into deep space background noise. But then in 2013, nearly 5 decades after it was declared dead, something incredible happened. Radio astronomers in the United Kingdom were scanning the skies when they picked up something strange. An irregular signal, warbling at roughly every 4 seconds. At first, they assumed it was interference or noise. Space is full of that. But the signal had structure, pattern. And when they traced its origin, the team was stunned to discover it was coming from the long-dead LES-1 satellite. After 47 years of silence, it was transmitting again. The obvious question was, how? LES-1's power source had been presumed useless for decades. Its solar panels, basic and unshielded, should have been damaged by radiation long ago. And even if they had miraculously survived, the internal systems would have degraded beyond function. But here it was, alive, pulsing out a steady signal. Not strong, but consistent. Some engineers suggested a plausible explanation. Perhaps a short circuit had occurred. Maybe one of the satellite's wires had finally decayed in such a way that sunlight, striking it just right, could trigger a basic signal. That explanation seemed logical, at least at first. But then came the next twist. The signal wasn't always consistent. Sometimes the pulses would be rhythmic and steady, like a heartbeat. Other times, they would flicker, stretch out, or stop altogether, only to resume hours later. It wasn't a clear communication, but it felt intentional, like something or someone was interacting with it. Naturally, this led to speculation. Some experts held fast to the idea that the signal was just a natural consequence of orbital spin, light exposure, and failing circuitry. But others weren't so sure. Some pointed to the strange, almost musical nature of the pulses. Others noted how the signal seemed to behave differently, depending on when and where it was observed. Amateur radio operators around the world began tuning in, hoping to catch it themselves. And some did, just brief whispers of that haunting warble. But none could decipher what it meant. After all, what else could explain a satellite being dormant for 47 years, only to randomly begin transmitting again with no human intervention? Could it have been intercepted, upgraded, repurposed? There was no proof, of course, but the very possibility was enough to ignite imaginations. And not just among fringe theorists. Some in the scientific community began revisiting the case, not because they believed aliens were involved, but because LES-1 posed a more terrifying question. What if we don't understand how long our machines can last in space? What if there are dozens, maybe hundreds, of dead satellites up there, waiting? It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. LES-1 isn't the only object in Earth's orbit from the 1960s. There are pieces of forgotten hardware from NASA, the Soviet Union, and even private corporations from the dawn of the space race. Most of them have never been tracked closely. Many aren't even fully cataloged. And some, just like LES-1, might still be capable of something. Today, LIS-1 is still up there, quiet again, but still spinning, still catching rays of sunlight, still in low Earth orbit circling the planet roughly 14 times a day. Its signal hasn't been detected in recent years, not clearly at least, but it hasn't been conclusively declared inactive either. It could come back again, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 years, maybe it never really left. And that's what makes it so unsettling. Because we're surrounded by technology, space debris, satellites, probes that we assume are inert. But LES-1 proved that even after decades, a machine we buried in our past can suddenly wake up. So the next time you gaze up at the stars, remember that somewhere above you, an old satellite might be silently watching, waiting, whispering. And if it does speak again, will we understand what it's trying to tell us? Or will we wish we hadn't heard it at all? Be sure to like and subscribe for more strange history.